Hello, this is Dawn from Create28 and Create with Confidence. In today's project, I'm going to be working with the design team and scrapbooking with me, and I'm using several of the digital kits from scrapbooking with me. And the first one is Faded Blues, and I printed these out, some of these out. This one in particular, I printed out 2 to a sheet at 80%. And I did this because these are going to be the front and the back of my cover. And then I printed some out 6 to a page. So here's 6 to a page. So you can see what they look like. And I printed out the ephemera. And all of those I printed out on a light cardstock. Okay, and then I printed out some on just copy paper. So you can see what these are. I just think they're absolutely gorgeous with the blues and the tans. Okay, come on now. Not wanting to cooperate. Okay, here we go. And I forgot how many pages were in this kit too. Sorry about that. But I'll have the links to everything down at the bottom in the description. Okay. So I printed those out. And then after I printed them out, I flipped them over. And I printed the backs using the digital kit journal filler pages. So these are all journal filler pages here from that kit. Because it had a lot of the tans and the browns that I thought would complement this kit really well. And it has some blues in it, like here, 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 and here. So it had a lot of blues in it too. Okay. And then I also used vintage receipts. I printed some of those out for ephemera because I really liked them. And I thought they'd be great for ephemera in the kit. I don't know how much I'm going to use of these, but I just went ahead and printed out the entire kit because what I didn't use in this kit, I would definitely use in another one. I'll probably stick to the browns and the grays for this kit. And finally, so that I would have some sayings, I printed out the everyday fonts, which has a lot of sayings in it. And a lot of them were the tans, the off-whites, and the browns, which again I thought would go great with this kit. So I'm using 4 digital kits in this one. But the main kit that got me started on this adventure was this Faded Blues, because I just absolutely fell in love with this. So I hope you'll stick around and watch what we're going to do with these kits. Okay, I'm back, and I've got my papers for my signatures all folded and ready to go. I've got everything cut here. I don't have my corners rounded, and I can't find my corner rounder right now, because if you noticed here, there's not a whole lot of clutter. I'm moving into my shop, and I've got the things cut. And I actually have, this is what I'm going to use for the cover. So this was a book that I tore apart, and it was too thin. It was only about maybe 1/4 of an inch thick. So what I'm going to do is I cut the binding off, and then I cut 1.5 inches, and I will put that on and use this as the spine. Okay, and so I've got some papers here to decide which one I want to use for the covers. And I have a paper bag, because you know I love to put paper bags in my journals. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this right where this line is. So I'm just going to cut it. And this may be a 2-part video, because it may be too long to put it on one, because we're going to make the journal and decorate it. Okay, so now I've got this that I can use as a pop-up. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to take this and just fold it in half. That can go in my signature. Okay, and I'll set that aside. And I will set these pages aside. And the first thing I want to get done is get this taken care of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some duct tape, because that kind of makes it easy. I'm going to cut off a long piece. And I'm just going to attach it here. So this should be 1.5. It is there. It is there, okay. Just want to make sure I cut it evenly. So I'm going to put this on top of the tape. Okay, try to make sure I get a little bit even. And then I want to have a little bit of room. I don't want it right up next to it. So I'm going to leave just a little gap. Right there, so that this has room to fold in. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to leave just a little gap. That's probably about 1/8 of an inch, maybe. So it folds in easily. Okay. And now I'm just going to go about halfway here. I'm just going to wrap it around. And hopefully I have enough duct tape. I should. Okay, get right there. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I hope it's not too echoey. Is that a word? In here, it feels really strange. Like I said, it's my first video in my new shop. This is actually going to be my last video, though, for the design team. It has been a pleasure working with them. The ladies have been wonderful. And Miss E of Scrapbooking and me, she is just the sweetest person you will ever meet. So if you ever get a chance to work on a design team, please do. Just go for it. Even if you don't think you're good enough, go for it. The people are wonderful. And if you have the experience that I had, you will not regret it. Okay. So there, we've got our spine now. Okay. And then we want to cover it. Now these sheets won't work. They're not long enough, obviously, to cover that. So I got this color, kind of a backing to back it. And I'm gonna have to get 2 pages. Unless, of course, I go this way with it. That would work. I don't know where my brain is lately. But I still like that much better. Okay. So let's get this cut down to the size that we need it. So I want to overlap about 1/4 of an inch. So we need to cut it probably about right there. So I'm just going to kind of fold that. And I'm going to get that cut, and I'll be right back. So I ended up cutting these 10 by 6, and I trimmed the white off this and cut it 5, because it ended up being 10.5 inches this way, so I cut it to be 5 1/4. So I'm going to set that aside, and what we're going to do is we're just going to glue these on. Okay, so get your favorite glue. Now I did add water to this one. So let me just get this on here and take a brush, kind of brush it so that it's not so gloppy, and get it out to the edges there. And I'm not worried about if it comes all the way to the edge of the spine there, because I'm going to cover that. Okay, so let's just cover that. Probably about right there. Oh yeah, that gives us enough room to overlap. make sure that we get it down real good. Ah, here's something. Just fold these up. Fold that up. I want to trim off these corners like so, and then glue these down. Thinking I may have added a little bit too much water to this glue this time. Okay, let's get a bone folder. Get a towel. I'm just trying to get any extra glue off here. Okay, and then pinch in the corners here a little bit. And I always put corner protectors on my corners. So let's get that. Yeah, it helps if you can stay on the paper and not get it all over the place. Okay, so that's that one. That's the front. I've got a little bubble there. Just smooth that out, and we're going to do the same thing for the back. And then these we'll put on. So I just need to cut a little bit more off of them, but put them on somehow like that. So I probably want to trim it off about right here. So that would make it, let's see, 1 and, let's see, oh, that's just 5 inches, okay. So I'm just gonna cut it off 5 inches. I cut it off to be 5 inches, excuse me, on both sides. That'll be the front, the other will be the back. And I know, how did I get glue there? Heavens. I'm gonna ink this. This is Faded Jeans. And I know I want that one on the front. Is that the one I want on the front? Yeah, that's the one I want on the front. So let me set that aside. Make sure I get to the edges. So I'm just getting this down real good and getting rid of the excess glue. So we got that one down. And I see I've got some ruffles over here. I'm just gonna see if I can smooth this down a little bit. I really don't care if they don't have to be perfect. I mean, nothing's perfect, except for God. Okay. And I haven't decided yet, you know, how I'm going to decorate this, or even what I'm going to use to cover the spine. I was thinking an old pair of jeans, or some burlap, or some painter's canvas. I haven't decided yet. So I'm going to set that aside and get my signatures. Okay, so I've got my pages, I've got an envelope here, I've got some old book pages, 3. So I'm going to put these into 3 sections because I want 3 signatures. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is just kind of switch them up. So let me do this first. Let me just fold these in half. I loved Aladdin when I was a kid. And Gulliver's Travels. I don't know why. Okay. Let's put that down like that. Actually down like that so that I can get it caught in two of the strings when I'm making the signature. Put the bag in there. So I just like to alternate pages here. Let's see, this, so let's do this up here this time. I'm going to do something else there. Okay, so what was last? That one? Let's do this one. And then this one. And then this one. Then this one. Actually, I want it to end with the paper inside the middle, so I'm just going to put the music paper like that, and I want the pretty side to be in the center, so I'm going to put this over and do it like this. Okay, and I'm going to take this that's my second page, right? Okay. Instead of doing it that way, making it short, let's I'm thinking here. I know, it's hard. Let's glue it together so that it's got more teeth to it. More teeth, that's not the word I'm using. Strength, that's what I want, more strength to it. Oh yeah, make a mess with that glue, Dawn. Just get it all over the place. Okay. pull this side. And I'm going to glue it all the way, like so. Then I'm just going to trim. I'm going to take it to the trimmer. I'm going to trim this off. You're supposed to stay stuck. And put thumbnail in it. Okay. And I'm just going to ink. Just going to ink it like that. And fold it like that. Back in here. Like that. So we have a pocket. May have to glue that a little bit better, but we'll have a pocket there. Okay. So that's our first signature. Now, this time, I'm not going to do that. What I'll do is lay it open. And I thought that I had put some tape out here. Washi tape. Okay, one of these should work. Actually, either one will work. I think I'm going to use this one. Okay, so for this one, what we'll do is take the washi tape and put these two together. Let me do one at a time, because I can't do two at a time. Just not that talented. There's one. So now we've got that. You can just slip that in like a page.